Hey, good morning, Gary. How you doing, man?
Good yourself?
Doing well. Hey, thanks for doing this morning, and appreciate your help.
You
So,
bet. You bet.
so what's been going on the last couple of days?
Last couple of days, well, we're finally on a personal note getting our house on track to get remodeled. So we're just signed a contract with a pool contractor to
Oh, wow.
start that work. So we're making progress.
All right. A pool party at Gary's, right?
Yeah, and I'm supporting all my ASU gear this morning.
I
So
love it. It's fantastic. Well, want to get started here, and just want to ask you, like, since probably enrolling in 1986, what does it meant to be a Sun Devil, and how does it feel to be a part of our family?
well, sure. I grew up. I'm an Arizona native, so I've been in the Valley nearly 54 years. And I think when you grow up in the Valley and the only sports team that we had was the Phoenix Suns, I mean, Arizona State sports was it. And so for me, some of my earliest memories of going to sports games was Arizona State. And my fondest memories is always going to Arizona State games. My dad loved baseball, and we would love going to Arizona State baseball games. And the teams back in the 70s and the early 80s were just spectacular. So many great players that made it to the major leagues that I can vividly remember. And so when it came time to choose where I wanted to go, I knew I wanted to be a business major and be in the realm of finance and insurance. I said, well, Arizona State has a program for that. So it was a good fit just down the street. And I have not regretted that decision one bit.
That's amazing. Oh, good stuff, Gary. So, like, why did you feel compelled and important to get back to our student athletes?
Well, I think it's always important that, Arizona State has given me so much. And sure, it took a lot of effort on my part and everything else, but I always think that it's important as human beings that we give back to those that support you when you have the ability to do so. So, when I got to a position and a point in my life where I could make a donation, you kind of look at, all the different causes and things that you want to support, from, helping people that are hungry to helping others that have not had the opportunities that I have had. Certainly all those come to mind. And then there's well, I want to give back to those that have helped me get to me where I'm at. And certainly Arizona State played a huge role in that, and bringing me along to essentially my career choice and my career path. And certainly it has served me well throughout the years.
Very cool. Well, with your gift, what kind of impact do you want to make with what you've been able to do for us?
Well, it was really important to me when we first started talking. I didn't want to make a donation and then it would go somewhere. It for me, when you told me that it was an endowment, that was much more attractive to me, because for me, an endowment means you're building a set of funds that will give in perpetuity to the future. And so I think it's important that not only will your funds serve today's needs, but it'll serve the future needs, like I said earlier, in perpetuity. So I think that that's important. And, I think a lot of people think that, well, student athletes get a scholarship, why should you support them? Well, a lot of them have a lot of additional other expenses and things that they do. And I think they're very limited in what they can do to earn money. There's NCAA rules around that. But at the same time, they need basic needs to help them be better athletes and better students. And I think it's important because they have to balance their student life with their athletic, endeavors as well. And statistics show that, of college students, there's a very small percentage that go on and play professionally in their careers. So that it's really important for them to have the resources and everything to focus on their education. And I think it's great that they get scholarships to do that. But the other thing that a lot of people don't know is a lot of these student athletes don't get full ride scholarships. They get partial scholarships. And so they need support as well. And to me, I think that's very, very important, especially to those programs within the campus and in the university system that aren't the main ones that get all the recognition, some of the smaller ones, because I think those are equally as important to be supported, and they don't get the limelight.
For sure. Absolutely. Well, Gary, I got a couple of really, really fun questions.
Sure.
What was the most exciting game that you've attended and experienced?
Well, I have two of them. So
Okay.
I think for me personally, the most exciting game I ever attended was the Arizona State Nebraska football game where we defeated them 19-0. And that's coming off the heels of Nebraska's back-to-back national championships. Not only the fact that we beat them, I mean, I think everybody is standing in awe that we were leading, but the fact that we beat them and they didn't score any points and they were such a dominant offense. And you walked away from that and you're like looking around the field and you're like going, they have all these stars and we have this group of kids that how did they win? I mean, you're just looking at like, there's something special here. And what you learned in the backstories is that we did have a very special team there that gelled. And, they were just one touchdown short of winning a national championship. And, while that was disheartening, that team and that specific game will always live in my memory as one of the greatest games I ever witnessed. Now, for me and my I guess my second wave of life, and now that I have a family and everything, the second most exciting game was the hockey game that I went to last year that my kids took me to for my birthday, which was against RIT. And It was the first hockey game that my entire family went to. And I think they begrudgingly went. They're like, okay, Gary likes hockey. He likes Arizona State. I guess we'll go. Well, by the end of it, they were just, and especially you were such a gracious host and taking them to the lockers and giving them hockey pucks. By the end of it, we were buying ASU gear for them. They wanted hockey gear, and they said, this is so much fun. We can't wait to come back. And to me, that it just showed me that people's attitudes can change once they see something and they embrace something that I truly enjoyed and was passionate about, and they embraced it as well. Because when we were walking in there and they were looking at the arena and looking at the parking lot, they're like, we're going to a game here. And so I think it was one of those things that they were, I guess, walking into it, they were underwhelmed. And by the time that puck dropped and they saw all the guys skating around and how much action, they were overwhelmed. And I think it was the switching in emotions by the end of it, like I said, that we had to stop by the gift store and they had to have ASU gear, which I was excited about because my fiance went to University of Arizona. She's a Wildcat. So it really made me feel great that her two kids, her flesh and bone, was wearing ASU gear by the end of it.
That's fantastic. Oh my goodness. Well, here's another really, really fun question. Okay. So if you could have dinner with any Sun Devil student athlete, coach, staff member, besides me, of course, Gary, who would that be and why?
Oh, gosh. There's so many. I mean, student athlete, hands down, it would be Pat Tillman.
Okay.
I just admire him. He, here's a person that put his life on the line to defend our country he loved. And, to me, it spotlighted more than giving up a huge NFL contract. He gave the ultimate sacrifice, his life, for something he was passionate about and he loved. And for me, I wish there was more of that, and especially in today's day and age when you see what's going on, is that people really had passion in caring for others ahead of themselves. And I think that that's what's missing today. And he had it in spades. He was such a great, not only student athlete, a great person and a great hero. As far as coaches, hands down, my favorite coach of all time is Jim Brock. Coach of the Sun Devil baseball team in the 70s and 80s. Like I said earlier, my dad, my fondest memories of my dad was going to ASU baseball games and watching the lights of, Floyd Bannister and Ken Landreau and Bob Horner and Hubie Brooks and Chris Bando. And then, in my opinion, the greatest outfield ever in college baseball, when you have Oda B. McDowell, Mike Devereaux, and Barry Bonds in your outfield, and they're all drafted into the Major League Baseball. I think that's unprecedented. So,
Oh, for
and
sure.
I think Jim Brock had a real passion for not only winning games. I think that was important to him, but he wanted to build student athletes. He wanted them to get good grades, and he felt that that was important. He also was really big on how they showed up on the field. And we saw some arguments between him and Barry Bonds on how Barry Bonds was fielding balls and things during the game, that I think he taught him some character lessons while during a game. And I think that that's very important for student athletes, is that it's not here for you. This is a team effort, and you're representing Arizona State University. I guess lastly, the person I really admire the job that Dr. Michael Crow is doing for the university. You know, hands down, he's a visionary that, in my mind, transferred Arizona State University from an education facility to a university with an innovative vision and purpose. And I just think the things that he's done for that university makes me proud to be a Sun Devil alumni. And I just would love to pick his brain, because I just think he's one of the most brilliant men to ever lead Arizona State University.
Oh, Gary, that's fantastic, man. I love your stories, and I can't wait to dig into that a little bit more on, some of our engagements moving forward. So,
You
anyway,
bet.
I'm going to take you off recording here now, and we can